Alright, hey everyone, welcome to another Steam Deck video. Today we're taking a look at the demo for Final Fantasy XVI on the Steam Deck. Now, this came out a couple of days ago and I finally got a chance to try it out. And first impressions, it's not great. The game is very heavy, as you can see from the footage that's being played right now. But still, we're gonna try our best to test out the different settings that we have. We have a couple of different FSR settings that we can play around with. We can play around with resolution. So this is going to be a look at what the game would run like on the Steam Deck. Now, this is a demo, of course, but I don't think that there will be any performance improvements when the full game comes out in a couple of months, especially for the Steam Deck. We're coming to a point now where the Steam Deck is getting quite old for all the new AAA releases. Still, you can play this at 30 FPS. It will drop below 30 at some points, even on some cinematics it will drop below 30. But it can be played, and on one hand, it's still impressive that the Steam Deck is able to run all the new games, even at 30 FPS. Previously, with the PS4, a lot of the titles came out and were being played at 30 FPS. So it's still pretty impressive, but you're not going to get the best possible gaming experience playing these games on the Steam Deck. Nevertheless, we're going to take a look at some gameplay. I'm going to go through all the different options that I tested out and see how that performs on the Steam Deck. Okay, so currently we're running at the lowest possible settings at 800p resolution with FSR 3 and with frame generation enabled. That's why the frame time is so choppy. And even with frame generation enabled, we're barely keeping above 30. As you can see, it dropping below 30 at some points as well. And not only that, but there's also significant slowdown and input lag delay, as it is expected with the frame generation. Now, this game has a lot of cinematics, so I'm going to skip over those. So still frame generation on, but what I wanted to do is turn it off and actually set FSR to ultra performance and see how that runs. Now, it does not look great. It looks very blurry. And I don't recommend playing on FSR ultra performance, even if you want to get more FPS out of it. But without it, as you can see, we get a significant slowdown. Not only is the frame time all over the place, but the game actually slows down. So this is not really a good playable experience. So let's just change that to frame generation off and set FSR to ultra performance and see how that looks like. We're also going to disable VRS. So yeah, this is now FSR ultra performance, still the lowest possible settings and 800p resolution. And I'm not sure if it translates well on the screen, but it is extremely blurry. Like you can generally make out the characters, but once they start talking, you can see how blurry their faces are. Still, it's keeping above 30 FPS.
Firebird's flames just as a first shield should. You flatter me, my lord. Or would you rather I flattened you? Can be arranged. Let's see if you can elude my blade. After all, your attacking prowess will count.
Okay, so let's set it from ultra performance back to just performance mode and see how much FPS we drop here. I did try out different, other than FSR, I did try out XeSS, but I didn't see any improvement or any significant difference. So on performance, we are dropping below 30 FPS in combat on some scenes. There's a lot of particle effects with this game, so it will drop below 30. But at least the characters aren't as blurry. It still does not look super great, but it looks a little bit better than ultra performance. And it runs at about 1 or 2 FPS lower. So as you move the character, FSR becomes increasingly bad with more movement. So there's nothing much we can do. And what I wanted to do is experiment with the resolution a little bit and see if I can, if I bring the resolution down and see how that looks with this game. Unfortunately, nothing happens when you do that. The Steam Deck's internal FSR does not turn on if we set the resolution to 720p. So what I had to do is actually exit the game and set custom resolution from the properties before actually launching the game. If you're wondering how to do that, I will show you right now. So you go to the properties, and from here you can select different resolution. Initially I tried with 800 by 600, but as you can see, that is a bit too blurry. Now that is with FSR at performance as well as 800 by 600, and it's even worse. So I set it to 1024 by 640, turned on the Steam Deck's internal FSR and set the game FSR to performance mode, and this is the result that we got. So not much improvement in the FPS there. The game does not look as blurry as it would with Ultra Performance. I think it runs slightly better than what it would on the 800 or 720p resolution. Now this next part of the game takes place in a different environment. It's the forest environment, and generally the game runs much better in this environment, as you see. We're even getting to about 40-45 FPS at some point. Now during combat, this will drop to 30, but it's generally much pleasant. Now I'm not sure what other environments there are in the game, and if this is the default that it would run at. It seems like it can run at stable 30 most of the time, but there will definitely be places, or there will definitely be combat and battles where it might drop well below 30, and I mean maybe well below 20 as well. There are, without trying to spoil the game too much, there are battles with enormous enemies, and there's a lot of particle effects, especially as you progress further into the game and you level up and you learn different combat moves and different spells. So the game does get progressively heavier to run the more you play it. And this demo only goes through Act 1 of the game, so I can't really say for sure how well it would run. I want to say that it will run at a constant 30 FPS, but that's obviously not going to be the case, I think. So it's definitely playable. You might have to lower the resolution to get it to play a little bit better, but I wouldn't recommend playing this on a Steam Deck. It's a really good looking game, and maybe the way to play it would be via remote play or something like GeForce Now if it comes available on GeForce Now. So right now, as you can see with combat, we are getting above 40 FPS, but at the same time we are getting stutters. Sometimes the game freezes for up to 1 or 2 seconds. So that's something to look out for. We're gonna go to a mini boss battle here, and you can see that the performance is somewhat stable, above 30, even above 40 FPS, even with all the particle effects. Now this can be achieved even at 800p resolution, but the lowered resolution in my case helps a little bit, I believe. And another boss battle here with a bigger boss, a lot of effects, and you can see that as soon as more movement starts to happen on the screen, we will dip into the low 30s. Unfortunately, there is no way around the blurriness. You can set FSR to balanced, but it will drop below 30 FPS with FSR set to balance. So you either have to keep it at performance or ultra performance, depending on what you're looking for, more FPS or a little bit less blurry. On the small Steam Deck screen, you kind of can live with it, but the more you play, the more you see that it really defeats the purpose of the game. The game is gorgeous and it should be played on a bigger screen with more resolution, so you can make out what the characters look like and what they're saying, and and the whole story. So that's pretty much it. Final Fantasy XVI Demo tested on the Steam Deck. Let me know what you guys think about this video. Let me know if this is the type of game that you will be playing on your Steam Deck, either locally or via remote play. And thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one.